Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween. Woo. I'm not really scary, but look, I got somebody scary pretty next to me. This is Predator. I don't know where Brandon Marshall is today. Predator is going to be taking over for him in his place. You got any things you want to say to the paper route people? Okay. And listen, a man who needs no introduction. If you don't know what character he is, it is probably time for you to brush up on your Black history. We got B-Flow in the building. B-Flow, what's going on? That was a lot more empty when you walked in. I mean, full when you walked in here.
I got to get in the character.
You've been drinking it?
Yeah.
Let the people know who you are in case I'm
gonna give them a hint. What you say about my mama?
Predator. Do you know who he is? Okay, Brandon, use your words, Brandon. Use your words.
Debo.
Oh, Bean, this ain't deep. It's old
not
dog.
Debo.
Listen, it's old dog from Menace to Society.
What you say
Debo.
about my mama? Oh,
my
okay.
God.
Hey, you gotta take your card, bro.
Man, you got me. Yeah, you got me.
You thought he was Debo?
Yeah.
So this whole time you thought I was Debo.
I told you $100 bet you that Brandon Marshall does not know what character you are.
We had a whole
Who
photo
are you?
shoot. We had a.
Who's Ashley? What's Ashley?
I'm a cow. Since y'all are always talking about my Cowboys and call them the Cowgirls, I figured I would actually be a cowgirl. So this is what I feel like. I'm more of like a Beyonce cowgirl. This is very Beyonce-esque.
Very Renaissance.
So this is very
I'm feeling
Renaissance.
it.
This is where we are. So happy Halloween, everybody. We're going to have a really fun, jam-packed show for everyone today. Like I said, hopefully you have somewhere fun to be later on today. If not, maybe you plan on going trick-or-treating around the neighborhood. I don't know. I feel like if I went trick-or-treating, I would score a lot of candy.
Yeah.
Right?
You'll be good.
Like,
Yeah, you'll be good.
I like trick-or-treating.
Where's my iPad at?
Listen,
Predator's
iPad. What
Where's
happened?
Predator's iPad at? I need my
Maybe
iPad.
he left it on his ship.
Here we go. Where?
His ship.
I need to switch up my voice. Where's Predator's iPad?
Listen, we're going to dive right into the show. And Brandon Marshall, a.k.a. Predator, appeared to know something that we didn't know. Yesterday, we were speaking about James Harden and how he was supposed to be suiting up for the Philadelphia 76ers on Thursday, but Woj dropped a bomb at 2 a.m. and Harden's stomping and yelling and temper tantrum got him exactly what he wanted because he is heading to the Los Angeles Clippers. We will dive into that trade, but there's more headlines around the sports world. What you got, B-Flo?
Should the Giants trade Saquon Barkley?
Ooh.
They're making some trades right now. We'll see.
We got like a couple hours for trade deadline?
Couple hours. That's all we
4
have.
p.m., right?
Yeah.
4 p.m.
Wow, you're saying should the Giants trade Saquon? You know what? You guys are covering the big news of the day. You know, I want to do something a little different. I want to cover my top 5, since it's Halloween, my top 5 scariest players in the NFL. Okay?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
March Madness. Let's jump into it. And
All
I want to
right.
hear y'all top 5 as well, so think about it.
Okay. Well, before we dive into that, like I mentioned, Woj dropped a bomb at 2 a.m. on the East Coast, that is. So I was asleep. I don't know about y'all. Were y'all up? Were you
Nah,
up?
I definitely wasn't.
What about you, Brandon? Were you outside?
Actually, I wasn't up, but when I seen it this morning, I was like, Yeah. Ashley Nicole Moss.
Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day, but we'll dive into what this means for the NBA and the precedent that it sets. But in case you missed it, a blockbuster deal went down overnight, and it's the deal that James Harden has wanted all along. The Sixers are shipping Harden to the Clippers for a bunch of players and picks, none of which the 76ers initially wanted, which caused the Clippers to renege on trade talks to begin with. If you remember, that was reported as the 76ers wanting 2 first-round picks in addition to Terrence Mann. Well, the Clippers did not have to give that up, and the 76ers did not get what they wanted, but they did get what they wanted in terms of getting rid of James Harden. In case you missed what the trade actually was, I'll go ahead and break that down for you. The Philadelphia 76ers traded James Harden and PJ Tucker, so they are both shipped out to Los Angeles. And in exchange, the Los Angeles Clippers will send over Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, and KJ Martin. And additionally, they will send over a 2026 LA Clippers first-round pick via OKC, a 2028 LA Clippers first-round pick, I believe that is unprotected, 2 second-round picks, and 1 pick swap. So the Clippers got to hold on to a lot of the picks that they were looking to hold on to, but they also got James Harden. James Harden is now a teammate with Kawhi Leonard, PJ13, and former teammate Russell Westbrook. From a basketball perspective, this team is going to be a absolute hot ass mess.
No, it's not.
Oh my! Do you?
Let's handle business first before we get into the basketball stuff. Ashley, does this end the debate now between you and I that players have leverage? Players are commodities, and when you are a commodity, okay, there's only a few you on the world and on this planet.
James Harden is not a commodity.
He is. Even at this age, James Harden's still a commodity. Look at what they gave up for him.
He's not a commodity.
So can we end this discussion because you kept going,
no.
What'd I say?
No.
All you got to do is make it uncomfortable. The problem, B, is that there's only a few NBA and NFL players that's really willing to get uncomfortable. Saquon Barkley should have taken notes when James Harden got his way out of Houston, right? All these other running backs, they should have took notes. But you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to be institutionalized, and they wanted to be a good sport. And guess what? They didn't get anything. And now James Harden, yeah, he might have some people not liking him, but guess what? James Harden is getting everything that he wants. He continues to get everything he wants. So I'm a James Harden fan, and I believe this is the blueprint, and athletes need to take notes.
You should definitely write a book on this, right?
Right, for sure.
Because he made it happen time after time. And going into the season opener, I told y'all, I was like, I'm reading the 76ers' mind right now. They gonna go and see how they go play against Milwaukee. If they play well, Harden is not coming back. And they felt like, hey, what Maxey doing his thing, he's scoring 30 points a game right now. They're going to let him get in his groove. They just go add some depth, add some toughness to him. I actually think it was like a decent trade for both teams. You know, Harden's going to add scoring for the Clippers, right? Because
stability too.
Because you got to think, PG and Kawhi, they might be in and out the lineup, right? Yep. So with their injury history, Harden is always going to be available. So it's always going to be Harden on the floor. You're going to have a score just in case those other two out. So I think it's a good trade for both. This is a veteran team. His attitude or whatever he has, where people feel like his little vibe is not going to rub off on nobody because they got alphas over there. Russ alpha, Kawhi alpha, he be in his own world. So it fits for the Clippers. They have veterans and they go play ball.
This is going to be good. Go ahead, Ashley, end the debate.
Ashley ain't feeling none of this right now.
You guys think he's a commodity? We're talking about James Harden, who's seen 4 different teams in 22 months. And has forced his way out of every single one whenever the situation doesn't work. In what way, shape, or form is somebody who puts up 8 points in a closeout playoff game a hot commodity? The man disappears in the playoffs. You bring him to Los Angeles. You thought he was a problem in Houston. You thought he was a problem in Brooklyn. You thought he was a problem in Philly. You brought him to L.A., and you think you're going to get an all-star James Harden? All this does is set an extremely bad precedent for the NBA, and I don't understand how a player like Damian Lillard, who was loyal to a single franchise his entire career, puts out there via multiple times that he wants to go to the Miami Heat. His agent puts out multiple times that he wants to go out to the Miami Heat. That becomes a non-fact. That becomes the reality of that situation starts to dwindle each and every week he's not traded. He then goes to the Portland Trail Blazers and says, hey, if I can't go to Miami, let me just stay here in Portland and play with you guys. And they ship him out to Milwaukee. Yes, a contender, but that's not where he wanted to go. You have James Harden, who bitches and moans every single time something does not go his way, when a lot of the times, a lot of the problem is the man looking back at him in the mirror, and he gets to go to his trade destination, his preferred trade destination, every single time. How the hell does that make sense? Someone explain that to me.
What you brought up makes sense, Ash.
How? Explain it to me.
Nice guys finish last. Dame was quiet about his. I mean, he came out publicly. He just said,
no, he wasn't.
I would
Dame
like
himself,
to go to Miami nicely.
No, he said multiple times via his agent, just like James did. James himself never came out and said, trade me to the Los Angeles Clippers. It was everybody around him who said it. That's no different than what Damian Lillard's camp and his agent had done the entire offseason, and as put out there, James wants to go to the Clippers. James himself never spoke about that. The only thing he said was Daryl Morey was a liar. He never said himself traded to the Clippers.
Go ahead, B.
No, but with him not showing up to practice, like he put his foot down.
Dame never had an opportunity to do that because he was traded before
he wouldn't have done
camp.
it.
He wouldn't have done it.
We don't know.
I do know that. I talked to Dame at the fight. It was, was it? It was the big fight. It was Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, and we're sitting there talking, and he talked about the memo that went out. And he was like, yeah, man, I don't have a choice. Like, I'm going to show up. And he came out and said that, like, yeah, I'll show up. So Dame definitely was going to go back, and it goes back to my point. There's the Dame Lillards of the world, and then there's the James Hardens of the world. Both got what they wanted, right? Because
no, they didn't.
Dame Lillard got out of there. And Dame Lillard said that, yeah, he wanted to go to Heat, but at the end of the day, when it came down to it, he said, okay, I'll take this. I'll sign off on going to play with the
He didn't sign off.
Freak.
He had no choice but to go. He has a no trade clause. He couldn't determine. He didn't have to
see,
sign off on anything.
Ashley, this is where I asked you, do you want to end the debate? Because what I am saying is a player absolutely has a choice, even with a no trade deadline, even being trade clause, even being traded. You have a say in the matter. I try to give you guys some examples of that. I keep talking about when the Cleveland Browns wanted to trade for me, and I'm just one person. This is not a unique situation. It's a universal situation in all of sports. So you're getting traded. Your agent or you can call that team and say, I'm not coming, right? So you have a choice. You have a say in the matter. Everywhere I was traded, I had a say in the matter, and I ended up exactly where I wanted to go. So imagine a Dame Lillard.
Are there
imagine
no trade
a James
Ford.
Ford.
In the NFL?
But it's not about no trade deadline.
No, I'm just asking, are there?
Yes, there are.
There's no trade clauses in the NFL?
Yes, there are trade.
Are there players who have no trade clauses in the NFL?
Yes.
Who?
Russell Wilson. Patrick Mahomes.
Russell Wilson had a no trade clause when he was with the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't know where he has it. I think it was with the Seattle Seahawks. That's right. He had to sign off on where he went. But that's not even what we're talking about. What I'm saying to you is this: that is part of the process. Do I want to come? Yes. Do I not want to come? No. So James Harden, we talked about this. James Harden said he where he wanted to go, and he sat back patiently. And he ended up exactly where he wanted to go. So if the owners can go out there and make terrible decisions and they can do bad business, but why can't the players do that? Excuse me. Because the owners can go out there and we say, this is the system. You play for me, so now you have to go through our system and our process. But when the player gets uncomfortable, when the players push back on the team, on ownership, and say, no, I don't want to be here, why do we always have this type of conversation with the player?
Because, Brandon, I understand that you like James Harden.
It's not that I don't like James Harden in that way. I wouldn't trade for him.
You just said you're a fan of James Harden.
I'm a fan of James Harden's process and how he's getting out. He's laid the blueprint for the stiff guys in the
with James Harden's process. We're not talking about a player who's done this once because he wanted to get out of a really bad situation that has reached a dead end. That I can understand. If James Harden was in a Damian Lillard situation where he was with a franchise for X amount of seasons and it was going nowhere, and he did what James Harden did, I would have absolutely zero problem.
Why does it matter?
Hold on. Because James Harden does this whenever he gets tired of playing someplace that is not producing wins, when a good chunk of the reason they're not producing wins is because of him.
So those are two different conversations, though.
Hold on. You wanted to go to Brooklyn. In order to force your way to Brooklyn, you made Houston think you were out of shape. All of a sudden, you get to Brooklyn, you're in shape. Brooklyn is not the magic end-all fix that you thought it was going to be, not the instant popcorn championship that you thought it was going to be. There was a lot of issues going on there. So what do? My earring just fell off. So what do? You don't stay in Brooklyn. You force your way to Philly because Philly is a better situation. You can play with Joel Embiid.
We know the story. We know that, but that's not it. There's two different conversations.
Hold on, though. But now Philly is not the perfect fix. Now Philly is not the end-all, be-all.
That's not the conversation that I'm having.
Now you force your way out of this. He does this.
It doesn't matter.
Constantly.
So if we want to talk about James Harden, the person, the player, James Harden, the business person, and his process, that's a totally different conversation. But when we talk about James Harden saying, I'm not happy here, I want out,
He's
Why
never
is that a problem?
happy, Brandon.
Okay,
He's
well,
happy.
let's have that conversation. But what he's doing, there's nothing wrong with that, because the owners, on the other hand, when they go pay a guy $100 million and they say, well, you're washed up, or you're no longer good, or there's somebody better, we're going to ship you out, or
Brandon,
we're going to cut you.
You're
or
talking about a 34-year-old James Harden who has done nothing, who has, if you go through his list of teammates, has played with all-stars, has played with future Hall of
Doesn't
Famers,
matter.
and has nothing to show for it. And this is not just once. This is not just twice. This is not just 3 times. It's been 4 different teams in his career, and every time the grass isn't greener, every time it's not an instant championship, every time he has to put a little bit of work in, or the weather changes, or somebody sneezes at him the wrong way, he forces his way out of a situation. You're not 24, you're 34 years old. It's ridiculous, and that's the reason why the Clippers are the only team
though, because they still,
that traded for him.
They still trading for him. He got to be some kind of commodity, right?
24/7 and 7.
Why are you
That's like
assuming that he's a commodity and it's not more?
How many
it's
points
not,
he averaging, B?
24/7 and 7.
in the regular season. What does that matter? This is a Clippers team with an aging Kawhi Leonard, with an aging Paul George. You'll be lucky if you get a full season from these guys. You know how they are with injuries. You have Russell Westbrook on the team. Love Russell, but he's a little bit of a wild card. Their window for a championship is closing. They're throwing whatever they can against the wall.
Last 5 years, he averaged 10 assists.
To make this experiment a non-failure. I'm not saying
Those
that
still
James
all-star
Harden,
numbers.
he's a regular season all-star. What does that matter when it counts the most? You disappear
Okay, well, let's
every
have that
single
conversation.
year.
Can we
he's
just
not a
align?
commodity
Can
for
we
what
align?
they want.
Can we align on the conversation that we're having? All right. The conversation that I'm having about James Harden getting out is like, players, because of the system, because of how we view things, because of how we talk about players who get uncomfortable to force their way out, all right? Because of how the media and the fans engage in these type of conversations, this is the only way. This is the only way. Like Saquon Barkley, like all these running backs should have did the same thing. Come out and say, I don't want to play with this owner, right? Because here's the situation. All right, let's look at Saquon Barkley, okay? Saquon Barkley, he doesn't get uncomfortable. Now he goes out there on a 1-year deal. He gets hurt. Now, who knows if he's going to get the contract that he thought he was going to get, or what he deserved. So now he doesn't get that deal. He goes on to play a couple more years, but then he's out the league. He's approaching 30, okay? Now he's sitting there by himself with his wife and his kids. Does any of the Giants matter? Is any of Eli Manning and well, not Eli Manning there, but the Danny Dimes and the Dayballs of the world come and say, hey, what do you need? What are we doing here? No, that shit don't matter. This is a business, and we got to put the team and all that to the side when we talking business, because they do it and you should do it too.
Who cares? Okay, congratulations. James Harden forced his way to another team that he wanted to go to. You guys are talking about he's a commodity. Great. He's a regular season commodity. He does nothing in the playoffs. This is not
That's another conversation.
Time out. This is not a team.
We can have that.
This is not a team that is looking to be. I would say you would
win that debate.
This is not a team that's looking to be regular season winners. This is a team that knows their window is closing with the guys they currently have. They don't want it to be a failed experiment. They're trying to make a run in the playoffs. They're trying to make a championship. They're trying to win a championship. James Harden does not help them do that. He is not that guy. He has shown us time and time again he is not that guy. He will always put James Harden first. He is not a playoff. He is not a playoff winner. He is not a playoff player. He is not that guy. So yes, is he a commodity in assists and steals and points? Yeah, from October to April.
But Ash,
what difference does that make?
They don't want him to score 20 in the postseason. They don't want him to score 20. We want you to give you your 10. We want your 10 assists.
Championship. They want to win the playoffs.
And if you can get us 10 to 15 points every game, they good with that.
Is James Harden on the Clippers? Does this make them a championship contender?
Yes. 100%. With his 10,
you're coming to that conclusion how?
Okay.
And you're coming to that conclusion how?
On any big three or whoever have their three, you would say if James Harden can give you 10 to 15 a game, in a postseason. That's as much
10
as any
assists?
three.
What do you mean?
With 10 assists
10
to go
assists?
with
That's
that,
the thing,
he's the
Pete.
best number 3 that you can name.
I
in
didn't,
the
ask,
game
I didn't
right
say
now.
is he the best number 3. I asked you, is James
But that's what
Harden,
makes him a contender.
Is James Harden on this team going to make a difference for them in the playoffs? Is this a championship contender with James Harden?
Hey, this show you, James. Hey, let everybody
go.
know. You going to have the 10 assists.
okay.
You going to come out and get buckets this year because you happy. You in L.A. where you at.
Back to the crib.
Let's go get this chip.
So you think that James Harden is the piece that pushes them over the edge as a championship
100%.
contender?
It's a great, and that's how you started off. And I said, no, let's talk about the main thing first, ending this debate on this process of getting out from your team, right, underneath your team. So that's one debate. This debate, you win this debate, Ashley, when it comes to, you know, who James Harden is in the postseason and even his age and what he can bring to the table. But this definitely makes the Clippers better. For sure. Now, will they win it? To be determined. But this makes them better because you don't need James Harden to go out there like what you talked about last year.
Better?
He needed to go out there when Embiid went down in the postseason and dropped 40.
Yeah,
and
they
then
needed
40
him to do
again,
that.
and then they needed it again, and that's when he dropped 8. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's washed." No, look how they switched up how they played him. No Embiid. It was impossible for this guy to go out there and contribute at that level. They don't need that with a healthy Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George. They don't need it.
Okay. we're gonna move on because I disagree, but we can go around in circles about this. Moving on to another player who may or may not be on the move. As we mentioned, the NFL trade deadline is today, so someone's gonna get a trick or a treat.
Oh, I like that. I see what you did.
It's
there.
not gonna be, some may like it, some may not. We shall see. But Saquon is a name that has been thrown into the mix. Now, the New Jersey Football Giants have been struggling this season, and one of the reasons that they have been struggling, Saquon, as we know, missed a few games to start the season, and the offseason was a little bit contentious between Saquon and the Giants. Now, as we know, Saquon was looking for a certain contract. The Giants did not give him that contract. They ended up franchise tagging him. I'm sorry, was it franchise tag or
They
just a 1 year?
franchise tagged them, and then they came back in
with the 1 year deal.
1 year deal.
Yeah, so they initially franchise tagged him, gave him the 1 year deal. So he remains a Giant to start the season, but now it is being reported that he may be on the move. Now, New York already traded Leonard Williams to the Seahawks on Monday. Great move for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
And though the team has reportedly told people and insiders repeatedly that Saquon would not be traded, here's what Richard Sherman thinks the Giants actually should do. Listen to this.
You're 2-6. You got a high draft pick in front of you. You can kind of maneuver out of this Daniel Jones contract. You're going to want to maneuver out of this Daniel Jones contract. Ain't nobody taking him. There ain't nobody about to call you for him. I mean, what you going to do? You might want to just get rid of Saquon and let him go somewhere and thrive, because Baltimore, you might want to get rid of Baltimore, because Saquon can go thrive somewhere. He don't deserve this. Y'all didn't want to pay him. Y'all didn't want to give him his money. He's worked hard for this franchise. Let him go somewhere that wants him.
I know a good fit.
All right, Brandon, go ahead. Kick things off for us.
Swap Jerry Judy and Saquon Barkley. Jerry Judy, you know, boom, there's a little talk there. Why don't you take Jerry Judy? They need a wide receiver, okay? They need some playmakers. All right, Saquon Barkley, go to Denver. Sean Payton always had 2 running backs. Russell Wilson's at his best when he has a dynamic running back like this. Their running game it's okay, but you put him over there. I like it, but I also like what Richard Sherman said too. The Baltimore Ravens. That's a good look. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm standing on the table saying, "Go make it happen."
Yeah, the Denver one, if you're going to trade them, send them to a contender. Don't send them to somewhere that's – we're not even going to get into that.
Go.
Like,
all right, go.
Denver is not a contender.
Not yet.
We're not even going to get into that.
Okay.
But if you are going to trade them, do right by them, right? Because somebody will give you what you want for Saquon. You know he's a weapon. But if I'm the Giants, I am not trading Saquon. Me as a general manager, you're not getting out of the building. Why? Like you said, we don't have no wideouts. We don't even know if Danny Dimes could be our quarterback next year, or we go draft one in the draft. Like, you the only kind of stability we have on offense. I'm sorry, that ain't what you want, but that's what we need as a team. We need a quarterback. If we have a rookie come in that's going to need to hand the ball off to you at least 25 times a game. We're going to try to bring some help in on the outsides. I mean, Waller might get busy at tight end, but nah, like, even if we get a first rounder for you, we still not going to be able to replace you. Do you understand what Saquon gives the Giants?
Yeah, and listen, I agree with you there. If you're a general manager, why would you give up Saquon right now? Like, it doesn't make much sense. I don't think this family and ownership, and I was there, like, they're pissed off. They're like the McCaskies. When you're losing, they walk around and it's on their face. They wear their emotions on their sleeves worse than players. We've seen the Mara family, Mr. Mara in his box throwing stuff and, pouting when, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, when the Giants aren't doing well. So they want to win now. But if I'm Saquon Barkley, goes back to the conversation that we just had. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I got this damn Predator mask on. I'd have had this Predator mask on for the last 2 weeks, knowing that the trade deadline coming up, saying, I don't want to play for y'all, okay? Get me out of here. And I'm not taking off this mask until I'm traded.
That's not who he is, though.
I know,
he's
you're
a guy
right.
That's a good guy. He just hopes they do right by him. But
So
most,
let me ask you
most
this question real
NFL
quick.
players don't do that.
My point exactly. That's why I said I like what James Harden's doing is you gotta follow the blue, like that's a blueprint. Now you can do it in your own way. You don't have to be aggressive in some areas where James was.
This wouldn't
but
be
let
a
me
James
ask you a
Harden
question.
situation, though. This would be
So-
more like what Damian Lillard should have did. This is Saquon Barkley, who has been with one organization his entire
For a couple of
career.
years.
His entire career.
But I don't care if it was
You
20 years.
can't compare this to James Harden, who does this every couple
what
of
I'm
months.
comparing
Saquon
it to,
doing it is different.
What I'm comparing it to is players unhappy, team doesn't want to pay. All right, let them go.
That's the thing. Do you pay him, though?
So let me ask you this question real quick, B, before I answer that. You're Saquon Barkley. You're a running back. You have a couple more years left, right, on your career. So you really have one opportunity to get that deal that's going to change your kids' life. And that's our goal when we make it to the league. We ain't talking about our kids. We talking about our kids' kids. He deserved the same opportunity Daniel Dimes got, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you're Saquon Barkley, do you sit back and do you be the great steward, the great teammate, the great citizen, and say all the right things, and then your ass stick right there? Or do you say, you know what, I'm gonna get a little uncomfortable, I'm gonna say some things that's gonna piss off the fans a little bit, maybe, hit my little reputation a little bit, but I'm gonna get that deal, and then I'm be able to take care of my kids.
But who's to say that works?
It works.
Let's hypothetically say Saquon does that, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's say he goes out there and he drops little breadcrumbs of like whatever he's feeling, whatever the case may be. First of all, the deadline's at 4:00, so I don't know how much time he has.
That's a lot of time.
But let's say he does do
Just
that.
go out there right now on the podcast
And
or go on there live.
Let's say he does do this. Now, we already know the NBA and the NFL are very different when it comes to players having control. Saquon does this. He still doesn't get traded. Now what? Now he looks crazy.
No, he doesn't.
Because now
he doesn't.
he bread credit.
So answer my
too late.
question.
B, it's almost too late now.
At this point, it's like, okay, like.
Yes, but answer my question, though, both of you guys. What would you do?
If I'm Saquon, you're not going to act out of character. I can't see him doing that. That's his character. So what I would do if I was him, I let my agent do all the talking. He'll release a statement saying how unhappy I am and I want to be moved. If not, like, then your agent can make up a letter of, you know how it's Twitter these days. And you can just sit there, not say nothing, but everything will be out there about you wanting to be out. Like,
I will ship Tony Pollard personally to New Jersey for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, they ain't trading in the
I will
division.
drive
That
him to
ain't
the
happening.
airport myself.
But it's almost too late now, B. He would have had to been doing this on the off season.
We got 3.5 hours.
He's not
I'll
making
drive him
noise,
down.
though.
I'll head to Dallas. I'm already dressed for Dallas. I will head down there. I will get I will get Deuce Vaughn and Tony Pollard. I will drive them to the airport.
Y'all still not understanding what I'm saying, though. B, there's 30 million. Maybe the chat can help me out here. Chat. If there's 30 millions on the other side of being uncomfortable and making your situation uncomfortable, right? Like you got fans screaming at you. You got Stephen A. Smith and Ashley Nicole Moss saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
I didn't say that.
You will if he puts on his fat suit. If he say, "I ain't playing for the Maras and the Tisch family,"
This is not a James Harden
he goes
situation.
through that, and then there's $30 million on the other side. But then he stays here, and then he has one more year, so there's another $10 million. What decision do you make?
It's just too late now, B. You got a couple hours. You can't it's no kind of ruckus you can make in a couple hours that's going to make the franchise say, you got to get out
Go
of
to
here.
MetLife Stadium, go to the 50-yard line, and stomp on your own logo.
It's just not getting out the building. He would have had to do this in camp, saying I'm not showing up. Then come the first week of the season, like how James Harden did.
Right.
Showed up for the first game of the season and be like, all right, I guess I'll play if y'all want me to play.
I know.
And he would have had to do that, so everybody know he unhappy. Even if the people in the building just know he unhappy, it's still not happening right now.
The last thing I have on this is I just hate, right? I hate that the owners can do it and players can't.
I agree.
And I hate when we miss our opportunities. Like, I wouldn't change my approach at all. Like, Josh McDaniels, Mr. B, y'all don't want to trade me. The Jets want to pay me. I mean, you don't want to trade me and you don't want to pay me. Well, the Jets will trade for me and pay me. The Miami Dolphins will do the same. The Seattle Seahawks will do the same. And there was 5 other teams. What are we doing? I need it right now, because if I go out and I feel, that could be my Achilles, that could be my ACL, hell, that could be my neck, that could be my brain. I need it right now. That's how I played when I went out there, bro. And listen, I wish I was more diplomatic, but like, it is what it is.
Last thing I want to ask you, B, if you are the Ravens, what are you giving the Giants for Saquon? Because he has been injured. You say he only got 3 more years left. Like, are you going to really pay him?
Go back home.
So OBJ got to go. And then you go give him what, though? Are you signing him to a 3?
No,
like,
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Would you really pay Saquon if you're another GM right now after all his injuries? And
listen, we had this debate. I forget who we were talking about, Ashley and I. And for me, it's like you go all in. It's like the LA Rams. It's even like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Even
it's
if
like
it's for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, like I just need it right now. Right? Because to me, the Super Bowl is that sacred, is that valuable that I would mortgage the future if we're right there. And when I say the future, I'm talking about maybe 5 years, right? Look where the Rams is. They went to 2 Super Bowls. They won 1.
Yeah.
If I'm the owner, I'm still happy. Like, are you happy? Are you upset that 2 years later you're in this spot because you had some salary cap issues and you don't have the assets in the draft because you went out there and won a Super Bowl? Man, there's people that never been to the Super Bowl, bro.
Well, before we move on from this, real quick, we have about 3.5 hours left until the deadline, roughly 3.5.
It ain't happening.
Yeah. Saquon, staying or going?
He's staying for sure.
Staying or going?
He's staying.
I was going to lean on the side of staying, though. Although if he gets traded, I would be pleasantly surprised.
James Harden tried to show you, bro. You ain't want to listen.
What? Josh Jacobs? Who's the other running back out there trying to get paid this offseason?
All the Austin Ecklers and...
Yeah, Austin Eckler.
Oh, yeah. I thought Austin Eckler got his deal.
Did he?
Lamar Jackson, Lamar had to go through.
Yeah.
Look, what happened? What happened, though?
He stood his ground.
Lamar came out and said, what? I ain't playing. I want to be traded. And
You
guess
got
what?
to.
The deal got done 6 weeks later.
Oh, I'm hurt. Y'all want me to come back? Nah.
Right.
Y'all want me to come back? Okay.
And guess
Give
what?
my bread, then I'll come back.
And B,
you got to do it.
B, he from right up there where you from.
Yeah.
I always tell the people he from Pompano. Like, that's that mindset.
Yeah.
Play with that boy's money one more year if you want to. See what Lamar would have did.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm Lamar, I go back to the table after this year. I'll be back to the table right now, B. Nah. You see what Joe Burrow got? I need that right now.
All right, listen, we're going to move on. We're going to stay in the NFL, though, and talk some more NFL deadline talk because, as we know, Jerry Jones made it clear that he wasn't picking up the phone to go ahead and engage with teams about any trades. But if they called him, he would listen with an open ear. Now,
Does his ear still work? He like hunting. Jerry Jones. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go finish. I'm sorry.
His ears still work, so yes, he can listen to a conversation on the phone.
His son's name's Steven. Steven, what did he say?
Like I said, starting from the bottom of the NFC East to now being at the very top with the Philadelphia Eagles, Jerry Jones, like I said last week, he would not engage in trade talks, but he did say that he would listen. Now, Micah Parsons, as we know, is never one to shy away from the media. And he says that he thinks that his Dallas Cowboys, our Dallas Cowboys, could actually use some help, Jerry. Listen to this.
We could make a trade. The Cowboys can make a trade to get more depth at O-line or, depth at corner or, D-line. You can't get enough or even linebacker.
All right. Well, we do know that the Dallas Cowboys won their game against the Rams, over the weekend and absolutely demolished them. And it had people think that, listen, the roster's pretty much intact. This is a team that when they're playing at their very best, they can win and they can win big. So, Beefo, I'm going to start with you. I know I was on the side of maybe they should trade to help, the secondary out a little bit with the absence of Trayvon Diggs, maybe even get another wide receiver if possible. I was a big fan of potentially having DeAndre Hopkins in a Dallas Cowboy uniform. That didn't end up happening. He's in Tennessee, but I know he wishes that he was with us. I know he does. But do you think that a trade needs to happen for this Cowboys team, or this roster is good to go?
They good to go. Like, the Cowboys are playing ball. I've been saying this all season, and I don't even really like the Cowboys. If it wasn't for you and your, emotion swinging Ash, I wouldn't even care about the Cowboys. But they set. The Cowboys are set. And Micah, he got to chill a little bit. He being a little bit too honest on his podcast.
What do you mean?
He's saying, like, man, we might need a corner.
His teammates.
Like, yeah. If you the starter coming in for Diggs and I'm thinking I'm playing ball, we winning, and I hear my big dog on defense saying, hey, we need another corner. Like, how you think that's going to make his teammates feel?
But do you think that what he's saying is not something that's already been said amongst those guys in the locker room? I'm sure that they have these conversations.
Nah, you can't talk like you can't.
You don't think that they have conversations with each other after a tough half or a loss, and they say, "Damn, we really need a da-da." Like, I'm sure this is not something that anyone in that locker room.
It's an unwritten rule. You cannot.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, when it first happened, when he went down, that's when you're thinking, you're like, damn, what do we have? Do we need to, what is the team going to do? Are they going to trade for somebody? Who are they going to pick up off the street? Right. But like, once you're in it, yeah, like it's crossing the line. I would say it's not even getting close to it's crossing the line because, you're going to war with these dudes or going to battle with these dudes every single day. And so like, you don't want them to feel like, damn, like I'm not good enough. Like, didn't I just catch an interception, bro? Like, I'm not good enough for you. So, he has to be careful with his words because, his words are powerful. He's him.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, listen, do you see that their NFC East rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, make a move before the deadline? They, have been winning. They're top of the division right now. They looked a little, some of the wins have been a little bit wonky, but a win is a win, and they find a way to always win. Do you think that roster needs anything?
You never know with Philly. They be making moves like they don't matter. Like, they don't care. Right. If somebody out there, they don't care if they deep at that position. They like, they can help us, we going to grab them. Right. I like that. As a player, you like that. As fans, you like that. As franchise, you like that because they're bringing in players to get that ring.
And they not playing around, bro. Like, they already went out there and traded for the safety. So they already made their moves, right? They went out there and they picked up Julio, off the street, right? And who just scored a touchdown, right? So like they already made their moves. I wouldn't be surprised if at the 12th hour, they make another move. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles are good. The Cowboys, because I didn't answer this. Look, Jerry Jones, like I always play around like, yo, he's 100. He need to win now. And because
he's 100.
He
I think
is
he's like
though.
94.
80?
Can we look it up? But think about if you're Jerry Jones, right? Like, I mean, you're at that stage of your life now where you're like, I got to sell some assets, to make sure people are good, make sure my estate is good. Like, this is the reality. And so for him, he loves the Cowboy. This is his baby, right? He loves the Cowboys probably more than Steven Jones, his son, his right hand.
You mean he loves the Cowboys more than he loves Steven Jones, or he loves the Cowboys more than Steven Jones loves the Cowboys?
No, Jerry Jones loves the Cowboys more than his son, his right hand, Steven Jones.
What about his daughter? Does he love him more?
He loves them equally.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his little baby. Your little girl is different. We got a little girl.
Sure.
Yeah, your little girl is different. Yeah, but definitely Steven. Steven look weird. Like he always look confused. Like he don't always look confused.
I don't know. I'm confused.
He always be like that. Yeah. I'm like, bro, say something. What do you do? But anyways, they're in a position right now where they're good. I heard B say that. They're good. But, man, you're right there. Yes, go make a move.
Like what, though?
Go make a move. It could be anything, bro. because they're good. They could be anything. Wherever you need a little bit more depth, offensive line would be one, right? But it's hard to go get an offensive lineman because when you find a good offensive lineman, you're not going to let them go. But you might go get that sixth man, that seventh man, the guy in rotation. I think you're good at wide receiver. We talked about the running back position, tight end potentially. You can never go wrong there. The secondary. They're good, but like, man, you can go make a D-line, Bro, with their model now, you got D linemen rotating every other drive.
Yeah. That's how they do.
So my thing is, because they're good, it's like you don't have to do anything. But, man, let's go get this thing over the goal line.
Well, listen, we will go ahead and keep an eye on all things NFL as the trade deadline approaches. Like I said, 4 p.m. is the deadline. So we'll see who's on the move and who's going to stay put. Now, make sure you guys don't move if you're listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103. Thank you so much. Or watching on YouTube, because Brandon Marshall is going to be sharing his top 5 scariest NFL players a little bit later on in the show. But is that your ghost sound?
Yeah.
Okay. But speaking of Micah Parsons, he also had some more things to say on his podcast, B-Flow. I know you not a fan of Micah talking, but he gonna keep talking.
I don't got a problem with it.
He decided to comment on the 49ers 3-game losing streak after beating down the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you remember, they blew out my beloved Dallas Cowboys and then went on a 3-game losing streak. Well, Micah is sliding them a piece of humble pie. Listen to this.
It's always a rise and a fall in the NFL, right? At one point, you're always going to be on top of the mountain. Football has a funny way of keeping people humble, right? And I'm not saying this is example for San Francisco. Everyone has to deal with these things in the NFL versus his injuries, versus his adversity. I mean, I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys could survive 3 straight losses. It's not so much as it's Purdy, because a lot of people are saying it's Purdy. And it's always easy to blame the quarterback, because when they were winning, it was always Purdy's the greatest. I just think San Francisco had to turn it around. They're battling adversity. I definitely think the 49ers will bounce back. They're a great team. I don't think we should bury them for their 3 straight losses. I think the 49ers humbled us, and I just think life humbled them.
Micah, Micah, I love you. This comes from a place of love. We are not in a position to say anything about the 49ers and being humble and humble pie and dishing that out. They whooped us.
Yeah, that was bad.
They didn't just beat us. They whooped us. So I get it. Revenge is sweet. I can do that because I'm just a fan. But you were on the field, Micah. You really can't go ahead and say, ha, 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 ha. They still beat us, and they beat us bad. That's the last win that they got on their record book is us. So I'm just saying, I would just leave this one alone.
Micah's so honest.
I love his honesty, though.
He don't filter nothing.
That's right.
He's so honest, but you got to love it, because as a player doing this, you got to go back up everything week in, week out, and you go play the 49ers in the playoffs. That's how life works. You go end up having to play them, and you have to back up everything
We better beat them if we come across them again. That's all I know, because we're doing a lot of talking, a lot of I told you so, a lot of, oh, y'all not that good. We could have beaten you. Just make sure when we spin the block, because we probably will, that's a different outcome. That's
I got no problem with it, because he got to back this up. So I got no problem with what he's saying, and he's low-key right. Everybody, we all had the 49ers ahead of the whole league. We thought they was this and that.
I didn't.
And then now, you literally
the whole
said
league?
You said we got the 49ers up here.
No.
And then
I never said I had the 49ers ahead of the whole league. I said that they were better than us after that game.
You never had the 49ers won?
No, why would I?
I don't remember you saying
I always had the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. I picked that every.
Yeah, but we're talking about power rankings.
The rankings.
Oh, did I have them against ahead of the Cowboys?
Number 1. I could have sworn.
No, I had the Chiefs number 1.
Okay,
but I had the 49ers ahead of us.
You had the Chiefs over the 49ers?
Yes.
Wow, I think everybody besides you had the opposite.
But I did have the 49ers over the Cowboys. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
as a fan, Brandon, Ashley, I like this. It is tough as a player, right? Because even you seeing it's like, damn, bro, pump your brakes a little bit. But as a fan, I like this because when they see each other again, and there's a good chance they will in the playoffs, it's going to have all of us leaning in.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to replay. You're going to see the shirt from Kittle, right? That's going to be posterized everywhere. You're going to hear the sound bites, the back and forth. Debo Samuel's going to be saying something. You know, this guy's going to be saying something, right? Stephen Jones is going to be looking like this, right? Like, and that's going to be
Brandon, what is your beef with Stephen Jones?
Can we get a picture of Stephen Jones, please?
Oh
So I can
my
show you?
gosh.
Yeah,
What did he do to you?
Find that weird picture of Stephen Jones. But no, I like it as a fan. It's gonna be really entertaining. Hell, this season, we were talking about this last year with the NBA. B, like last year was phenomenal postseason. I feel like we're hitting into amazing post Thanksgiving NFL, and also this postseason is going to be electric. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, again, Micah was extremely honest, and it's important to note that all he did was say, listen, y'all humbled us, but now you're humbled. So the playing field is even. So I appreciate Micah's honesty. Just make sure that when that block is spun, the outcome is different. That's all I ask.
We need that game.
That's all I ask.
We need it.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to dive into some more NFL, some NBA, and Brandon's top 5 scariest players in the league. Don't move. We'll be right back.
Obviously, like my grandparents raised me. You know, my mom and dad was, you know, very young. You know, they had me at a young age, so. Obviously, like my grandparents raised me. You know, my mom and dad was, you know, very young. You know, they had me at a young age. So obviously my mom was there the whole time. And, but my grandparents raised me. They taught me everything that I know, the old school traditional way. You know, I grew up, you feel me? Like it was a good life, but I wouldn't say it was the greatest life because it was some moments that we would wake up with no lights and stuff like that, no electricity and stuff like that, man. So I would go to sleep. I would hear my grandmom crying, hear my granddad, hearing them argue all the time, saying, it's going to be better, it's going to be better. And from that moment on, man, I just told myself, like, you know, whenever I get a break at this football thing or whenever I get a chance to, like, help change their lives, man, I'm going to do it. And, you know, they've been great. Like, even when I was in college, I went through my situation. They had my back no matter what. And that's what parents are for, man. Like, without them, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today because they've been married for like over 60 years and they like, for real. And what's crazy is you can never break those two apart. And I just love how beautiful their relationship is. And I model to have one just like them one day. And what's going on right now, I just feel like it's just everyday family problems. You feel me? Like everybody has problems in every family situation. And right now I'm in a time of my life that, you know, I want to be able to have a relationship with my mom. Like I never had like a mom and son relationship in my life. Mm-hmm. I told you that my mom was there, but she was young. Like she was living her life. So I understand that.
You're more like siblings, if anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I used to call my mom by her name. You feel me? Like even up until last year, I was still calling my mom by her name, but now I'm calling her mom. You feel me? So I never really had that relationship. My mom lives with me, by the way. She's been living with me for 3 years now, and like it's kind of like jealousy almost. Like you forgot about us. You feel me? But it's never that. It's never that I forgot about you. It's just that I never had a relationship with my mom. You feel me? And I always wanted that. You feel me? So we just going through that right now, and I'm sure that'll pass over, man, once, you know, we get through the season. It weighs on me, like, you know, every night, man, not being able to talk to my granddad, man, because I'm used to my granddad calling me after every game, like saying, hey, you could have done this better, or hey, I saw something that you could have done, like you would have been open. You feel me? Like I kind of miss those moments between me and my granddad, but obviously I know he's still watching. Like, I know he's still watching because I get on Facebook and, like, I see him, like, watching our games, Dolphins game, and he's still turning up every time I score. So, you know, that makes me feel good.
So, and this is a loaded question. Why not call him?
It's tough, man. I just feel like, for me, man, it'll be, like, so many emotions tied into it, man, because, like, I love my grandparents. Like, I love them. Like, if something ever happened to my grandparents, I don't know what I'd do. Like, I'd probably quit football or something. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I know I can call them, but I just know it's just not right now for me. Like, I got to keep all of my emotions in football. And what's crazy is my mom still calls her parents every day, though. So that's good, though. You feel me? So as long as my mom is checking in with them, and my mom, she lets me know, like, hey, your granddad, he wanted to let you know that he still loves you and stuff like that. So it's coming back.
Yeah. Came up from the mud, it's like I walk around with a shoe stain. Uncle gave me fire when we kicked it, he was Luke Kane. Remember we was struggling for it, didn't needed loose change. Now the money never stopped, and I feel like I'm Bruce Wayne.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Happy Halloween. If you are listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103, we thank you. If you are watching us on YouTube, the I Am Athlete YouTube page, that is, we thank you. We are dressed in costume, so if you're listening on Sirius XM, you don't get to see that, but make sure you check us out, like I said, on YouTube or even Instagram. We're going to be posting some really cool photos lately. Brandon got a little hot in his Predator mask, so he had to take it off. He's now, what is your costume now? What would you call this?
Thuggin'.
Got it. Okay. And we got B-Flow in the building, who Brandon Marshall thought was Debo this entire time.
That's crazy.
He's not Debo. But listen, Brandon doesn't know much about, culture. He said he knows football, and he's relearning life at this stage in his game. At 40, he's relearning life.
No, I know some culture now.
He knows.
That just got away from me. I was just, I was moving too fast.
Why would you think this was Debo, though?
Yeah,
what about
why?
this gives you Debo?
Debo, tank top and khaki.
But you don't see the hair,
Dickies.
bro.
His hair.
And then,
Yeah, I know.
bro, it's O-Dog.
If he was
it's
Debo, he
100%
should have came on. He would have came in on a bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. That was on me.
Yeah.
Hey, players mess up too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what movie he's from?
Yeah. Menace.
Okay, just making sure.
You already said it.
That's why you remember. I didn't know. I was just trying to test your memory.
B, you don't watch those type of movies?
No, man, I watch all of those movies. We can get into it now. Like, what other movies y'all want to go?
I'm just saying. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna give you a line.
No, don't
tell
give me.
me what movie this is from.
Tell
me what movie this is
I can't
from.
even remember the movie I watched last night.
What movie is this from? I love the game. I love the hustle. I be feeling like one of them ball players, What movie is that from?
That's Paid in Full.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm making
Like,
sure. I'm making sure. I think he watched it recently because I gave him
What's
that
this?
line once and he didn't know.
What's this though? This ain't like one of those. It ain't in that genre, but it's a classic. My totem fell in the bottle, Ray.
Life.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think he said it right though.
Yeah, he did. Ray, my totem fell in the bottle. I done burnt my tone.
The
Ray.
accent threw me off.
That's how he said it.
Not quite, but it's close. Life is a fantastic movie if you've never seen it.
Okay, he had enough. That's my favorite.
I actually heard they were trying to remake Life, and I said, "Oh hell no!"
You gotta leave it alone.
Yeah, just leave it alone. We
You
don't
gotta
need.
leave
We
it
don't need a
alone.
remake. We don't. We don't need. If you had to be in jail with one person for life, like in that movie, who would you pick? Like famous person.
In that movie?
Yeah, like if you were like, let's go ahead and say, you're Martin Lawrence.
It got to be Martin.
You want to be Martin Lawrence?
100%.
Okay, who would you want with you?
Bernie Mac was dope. Bernie Mac was cool because you just
I'm the
sitting there
pappy.
I'm the pappy.
Who the pappy? I'm the pappy.
Martin Lawrence was good. He never gave up. Neither one of them.
Yeah, there you go. There's B-Flow.
Bro, that's me to the T.
Wow.
To the T.
That's to the T.
Wow. That's,
Come on, man.
That's
He does
fire.
have that extra prop, but we just can't show that on YouTube.
He for sure does.
Yeah.
Put behind the scenes.
Yeah, a little BTS.
Right.
Stay tuned for the photos. It'll be
You're
there.
right.
But back to our Halloween show. We have Marsh Madness. This is a segment where Brandon gives us his top 5 category in whatever it may be that he's giving us a top 5 category in this week. And this week in terms, in lieu rather, or in line, I'm throwing out the wrong word here, of Halloween, he's going to give us our top 5 scariest NFL players. So, ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're very dangerous.
We should have had the incense
Beware.
going.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, you heard
What
that?
the hell was that?
Yeah. Listen.
Stop.
So this is what we're doing every week. Brian, our producer, is going to have me do a Marsh Madness. Is that what we're doing?
Marsh Madness is your top 5. Yeah, we're gonna do this.
Top 5 anything.
Try to do this weekly.
I just called the Marsh.
All right, so here, let's jump into this and listen. This is it's debatable, but it's gonna be hard for y'all to debate me. Anytime I do a top 5 this or top 10 that, it's really hard. I put a lot of work into Marsh Madness. Okay, I stayed up for 4 hours in the wee hours of the morning putting this together. Now I'm gonna go through my top 5 and I'm gonna start with 5 first to make my way to number 1. But then I may have some just missed the cut guys, okay? And I think that's where it may be a little bit of discussion. But let's dive in. Sticking with the Halloween theme, this first guy, I said he's from Pompano, Florida. Very scary. Okay, not where he's from. Love Pompano, Florida, but the way he plays the game, he reminds me of. Give me. When I say clown, scary movie clown, what's the first clown that comes to mind?
It.
This is it. He's always smiling. He's always in a good mood, but he is dangerous. This is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the 5th most scariest player in the NFL, and he reminds me of it. Like, think about it. You get close to him. You're saying, "Oh, I want to take a picture with him," but the speed, the quickness, he's gone. Like, where'd he go? And then he comes behind you and he just knocks you out. That is Lamar Jackson coming in at number 4. Okay, I don't know why you guys continue to get caught by this guy. He reminds me of Jason. Jason is cool because Jason never runs, but he always catches you. Like, why does the person always trip and fall? I don't get it. Stop running his way. Stop throwing his way. He picks the ball off. He strip sacks. He does everything. This is TJ Watt. Let's wait to debate, but this is TJ Watt coming in at number 4. Okay? This dude, if you're watching him, there's an argument that he's better than his brother JJ Watt. And there was a time where we were talking about JJ Watt as the best defensive player ever. He was in that discussion. Yeah, up there with LT, up there with, what's our guy's name? Reggie White and those guys. Coming in at number 3. This dude's like Candyman. Have you ever watched Candyman since you want to talk about movies?
I have.
So what do you do
I've
in
seen
Candyman?
both. You say his name 3 times and
That's
he
right.
comes and he kills you.
Listen, let me tell you what he does. He goes to his quarterback and 3 times he'll say, "Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball." And guess what happens, B? He goes 5 games in a row over 120 yards through the air. That is A.J. Brown. They call him the Black Batman, but I'm calling him Candyman. He is scary. He's 6'1", 225 pounds, but he plays like he's 6'5", 250 pounds. He damn near, he reminds me of Megatron out there, bro. He's unstoppable. 5 games in a row, 120-something yards through the air. That is ridiculous. It might even be 6 games in a row. That is Candyman. Number 2. Now, 2 and 1, boo. Some people say it's interchangeable. I don't think so. Not right now, not at this point in the season, 8 games in. Number 2, he reminds me of Freddy Krueger. Do you know the story of Freddy Krueger?
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, Freddy Krueger comes to you in your dreams.
There you go. So they're very good, Ashley.
She on point.
She's on point. I Googled that today. I Googled that before the show. I said, what is the story behind Freddy Krueger? And that's exactly what it said. And so for me, when you think about this guy, he beat you before you even show up. Like, think about it. It's like, that's like Tom Brady, right? Like the Michael Jordans of the world, the Kobes of the world. You got players over there. Hey, can I get your shoes after the game? Can we take a picture? What do you mean? I'm about to take your head off here. That is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the number 2 scariest player in the NFL. This dude is like that. He comes to you in your dreams. He has coaches, defensive coordinators, cornerbacks. He has everybody on the opposing team thinking about him before they even arrive. And they're like, man, we don't have a chance. Number 1, and I hope this is not a debate, okay? If he continues on this path, on this trajectory, he should be MVP, okay? I don't think it should go to vote. I don't think we should wait until the awards ceremony, the NFL honors. We should just give it to him right there in the middle of the field. Say, here you go, because it's never been done before. We've never seen a wide receiver eclipse 2,000 yards. not Megatron, not Cooper Kupp, not Reggie Wayne, not Randy Moss, not Jerry Rice, not Terrell Owens, not Ocho Cinco. None of those guys. Tyreek Hill is the NFL's most scariest player. This is ridiculous. And you know what he reminds me of? Guess. Okay, so we got Lamar Jackson as it. We got TJ Watt as Jason. We got AJ Brown as Candyman. We got Patrick Mahomes as Freddy Krueger. He comes to you in his dreams. And Tyreek Hill is what?
Chucky.
Oh my goodness, bro. Look at this.
Chucky.
But I already told you I can read minds, bro. This shouldn't be nothing new to you.
Bro, I'm telling you, this dude is freaky. This dude is weird. This dude really read my mind. He's Chucky. Chucky, think about it.
I don't get Chucky.
You don't get Chucky?
Explain it to me.
Listen, when you look at Tyreek Hill, he's always smiling. He's always like doing something cool, but he has a crazy edge to him. So when you think about Chucky, Chucky is a doll where it's like you look at him and you're curious and you're like, okay, is he mad? Is he happy? He looks a little freaky. What's going on? That's Tyreek Hill, but he always gets the job done.
What about like Michael Myers?
Why Michael Myers?
Because Michael Myers, you just can't get rid of him. You know what I mean? Every time you kill him, he just comes back. You know what I mean? And Tyreek Hill is a player that you just can't get rid of. No matter what you do, he's always there. He's always in the mix.
Wilson. That's Russell Wilson.
I was going to ask you, why is Russell Wilson even on his honorable mission?
What? That's Russell Wilson. That's Michael Myers.
Concentrate on your, bro, you was going through your list. And I kept looking at Russell
Wilson. Why is he even here?
What is Michael Myers? Say it again.
Michael Myers is every time you kill him, he just keeps coming back.
Okay. He's not dead. Russell Wilson's not dead. The Denver Broncos is not dead. God. They're still in it. They just beat your best team in the NFL. Did they not? So how can we count them out? So yes, those are my most scariest players in the NFL, B. And yes, here are my honorable mentions. And is there any debate?
No, your list is on point. But I'm telling you was going through your whole list, and that Russell Wilson name just like kept sticking out to me, bro. And I wanted to, like, it kept bothering me. Like, why was he on his list for scariest players?
He doesn't go away. He dominates sports topics. We keep talking about him. He goes out there. Everybody wrote him off. I'm the only one in America that said, you know what? Russell Wilson and the Broncos is going to beat Ashley Nicole Moss, #1 team in the NFL, the Chiefs. And he did that.
Yeah, but the Russell Wilson Michael Myers comparison doesn't work like Tyreek Hill Michael Myers, because Michael Myers actually kills people before he gets killed and then comes back. Russell Wilson's not really killing anybody. You know what I mean?
He's cooking them.
I'm stay out of it. I'm done.
What is the chat saying? How does the chat, Ashley? How does the chat feel about my scariest players in the NFL?
They don't understand why Russell is there. They said Russell Wilson should be Oscar the Grouch because he's. Oh, I can't say that. Never mind.
Y'all keep.
I can't say that. I can't say that. I didn't read that full sentence.
Keep going. I love it. That's the best when you're a player and people just throw dirt on you. They think on your grave. And like, you're done.
Someone liked your Chucky comparison for Tyreek Hill.
That's right.
The list is on point.
Somebody said, ain't nobody scared of no damn Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's more like Casper.
Casper, really?
The friendly
ghost. He's a friendly ghost.
He's top 5 in every category.
Bro, if you say that one more time.
You just don't see it coming. That's Michael Myers. Do we ever see Michael Myers coming?
Yeah, but scary is like they invoke fear into you. Does Russell Wilson invoke fear into you?
No, but here's the situation. The Broncos are sitting here. They're not out of it. It's like, is this team about to turn the corner? Their defense, are they back on track? Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, did they figure it out? Could they sneak into the playoffs? That's scary. There's always that one team in the AFC or the NFC that's like, damn, we don't want to see them in the playoffs. And I'm not saying that is them. We don't know who that team is yet. But I'm just saying, be aware. The Broncos are coming. The Broncos are. What Dion say? We coming.
Coming where?
Sunday.
No, but like
Sunday.
Where's the final destination?
The final destination is just keep showing up every single Sunday, and let's see how things play out, right? Because everybody's gonna write you off, but don't write yourself off, okay? Don't write back like Gino said and DeAndre Hopkins echoed this Sunday. DeAndre Hopkins had a big week this
You know
week.
what? The Broncos got the Bills this week. This will be the game. If y'all beat the Bills in Buffalo, then I'll say.
I thought you said the Bills weren't
Why
very
you say
good.
y'all? I'm just commentating. I'm an analyst.
You a
right
Denver
now.
Bronco, like you ride. You should be
I'm a
wearing my.
Jet.
You should be wearing my outfit, and Russell Wilson should be like a cardboard cutout of you because you ride for Russell Wilson. Like I just hope a man rides for me one day. Like it is just like it's honestly very. It's very impressive. It's very unconditional, just ride or die. Like
why can't I take my 13 years? My 13-year experience of playing in the NFL and all this knowledge that I gained, the highs, the lows, the success, the failure, and say, boom, here's my analysis of the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson. Why can't it be that?
I just think you're a little bit blinded by your love and admiration for him, which is, listen, I'm not knocking it. Like I said, I can only hope to have that kind of loyalty in my corner one day. You know what I mean? Like, it's fantastic.
Two-game winning streak. We celebrating right now. Well, they celebrate.
We'll see against Buffalo. We'll see.
I would just like for you to admit that you are ride or die Russell Wilson.
Listen, there's a few people that if I draw a circle, there's a few people that'll be in that circle, right? Like you want somebody who's going to ride or die with you. You know, I got a nice little circle. And
thank you, Tommy. Tommy said, Ash, I ride for you. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Watch yourself, Tommy. Watch yourself, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy. That's very sweet. Listen, it is time for one of our favorite segments. I know it's one of Brandon's favorite segments. Yeah. It is time for Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar, NFL Rookie of the Week.
That's right. Here we go. I love Yo Rookie being Ashley because, you know, these are guys that you don't know. Some of these guys, right, are first round, the BJs of the world. That don't sound right.
You wanna
B
rephrase?
Robinson. How you say his first name?
Bijan.
So some of these guys, like the Bijan Robinsons of the world, first round pick, you know, like this guy has everything to get the job done. He comes out and it's just amazing what he's been able to do through this first half of the season. And it's crazy that we're through the first half of the season. Will Levis makes this list, right? Like this is a guy that I said I don't believe him. Why? Because you're putting mayonnaise in your coffee.
You did.
Are you the guy that is going to lead me? But when he goes out there and throw how many touchdowns this weekend? Unbelievable. Bryce Young. Who would have thought Bryce Young would jump back on?
Don't go through all these guys. Yeah, I got to go through their stats and things like that. Did you know that Brandon had mayonnaise in his coffee?
I seen that.
Oh.
How did it taste, though?
It was terrible. It was absolutely
tastes like
terrible.
Mayonnaise in coffee?
Yeah, we're going to have you do it, too, when you lose the
If
bet.
I ever lose.
Listen, if you bet me last night, Detroit Lions.
They didn't cover.
I know, because your boy Gibbs went ham, and that's why he's on this
and
list.
I knew that.
But you were nervous.
I wasn't nervous.
It was up until, the third quarter, like 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. It was 16-14 or something. It's like, ooh, they about to cover.
I got a gift, bro. I don't get nervous.
Read minds.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
All-star basketball player. The list goes on
Just keep
on.
going.
Listen, we're going to dive into these nominees. All right, so first we have the mayonnaise drinking QB from Tennessee. That's Will Levis. He completed 19 of 29 attempts for 238 yards and 4 touchdown passes in the Titans' win. We have another quarterback on the list, and that is Bryce Young, Carolina QB, that is. He completed 22 of 31 passes for 235 yards and a TD in the Panthers' win, which I believe was their first win of the season.
Yeah.
So congratulations to the Carolina Panthers. On the list, we also have Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison, caught 7 passes for 82 yards and a touchdown in the Vikings' win. And number 4, down in the ATL, we got running back Bijan Robinson, rushed for 62 yards and 1 TD in week 8. Number 5, we go up to Buffalo. It's Buffalo tight end Dalton Kincaid, who caught 5 passes for 65 yards and a score in the Buffalo's win. And last but not least, coming from Detroit, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, had a breakout performance with 189 total yards and a touchdown in the Lions' Monday Night Football win. All right, guys, if you had to pick somebody from this list, who gets your player of the week vote?
Hey, listen, you know I'm always going to lean towards the non-quarterback, right? Because the quarterbacks get everything, and they deserve a lot, right? Because they have the most – to carry. But Will Levis is a guy that I'm going to pick this week because this is a guy that I'm going to be honest, like when he came out and started doing like these weird stunts and skits with mayonnaise, it's like I don't know if I could follow that guy. Like, what are we doing here? Goes out there, gets a deal, does more commercials. I'm like, right? They draft him because they liked him, obviously. And halfway through the year, you know, they tried Tannehill go down. They tried their number 2 guy, and then they put him in there, and he lights it up, right? To the point where DeAndre Hopkins come out and says, like, oh, yeah, y'all thought I was done, right? All I needed was a chance. He gave him a chance, and he made everything go. So I'm going to go with Will Levis. That was an amazing, amazing, amazing game for a rookie. Think about that. Coming off the bench in your first year, and you go out there and you do that. That's unbelievable. Like, I like the guy, but I don't like the mayonnaise in the coffee, Ashley.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. When he was taken in the first round, we kind of was like, you taking a running back, Detroit? Like, you close. You taking a running back in the first round. But if you seen what he did in college, last night wouldn't have surprised you, right? He had 189 total yards. He can run in between the tackles. He can run outside. He can catch the ball out the backfield. Every time he touched his hands last night, you literally thought, like, he's either getting a first down or he go score a touchdown, right? And you can see him getting more comfortable and more comfortable as the season going on. Like, he's almost like Goff's tight end, his security blanket, right? He looked for him all the time out the backfield. So he has been so just instrumental to this offense. I think he could have been on here a couple times, but I think this is Jahmyr Gibbs' race to win this week for Pepsi rookie.
Well, listen, this week was undetermined, but last week we already know who won, and the winner is Puka Nacua. Brandon, we love us some Puka here at Paper Route. Any surprises here that he is the Week 7 winner?
I mean, he's done it week in and week out for 8 weeks, so you would say no. But, like, you would think, well, Cooper Kupp's coming back. Maybe he'll slow him down a little bit. Defenses, you know, will catch on to him. Then you're still questioning. This is the beautiful thing about this, like our Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week conversation, because is this like you're a one-hit wonder, or can you maintain this, right? And he's been able to maintain it. So, you know, yeah, I am a little surprised. I am, right? For a rookie to come out and do this. Hell, he's top 5 in receiving. And he's doing it consistently at a high level. Matthew Stafford, when things is hitting the fan and he drops back and he has he's in a gotta have it moment, he's looking for him, not Cooper Kupp, and that says a lot about him. It's special. We had him on the show a few times, right? He has an amazing story. So, you know, I suggest everybody go out there and just get to know this kid a little bit more because he has a dope story. He's a phenomenal person. And he's here to stay. The
thing you said, B, is that he's consistently on this list, right? So he every week you see Puka name. He could be the front runner for Rookie of the Year.
Sounds like it. He might have the award on lock. Well, listen, congratulations to the Week 7 winner, Puka Nacua, coming out of the Los Angeles Rams. Now, listen, if you want to vote for this week's winner, make sure you head over to NFL.com/voting/rookies. Like I said, that's NFL.com/voting/rookies to vote for this week, Week 8's NFL Rookie of the Week. And this has been Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar, NFL Rookie of the Week. All right. Listen. All right. That's very Texas of me. All right.
Why didn't y'all move to Florida? I mean, why didn't y'all move to Texas? Like, I just thought about that. Like,
can you imagine me living in Texas?
Pops, Mr. Jeff, why did y'all go from New York to Florida?
Well, I went to college out here.
If you're such a Cowboys fan, why didn't you go from New York to Texas?
You do know, like, Cowboys fans don't all live in Texas, right? We're all over the place. It makes sense,
though. Y'all should have moved to Dallas.
Jay-Z lives in New York and L.A. Denzel Washington lives in L.A. Charlamagne the God lives in New York. I mean,
he looks like a Dallas Cowboys
we kind of live all over the place. I don't know why I would have to live in. And I don't really think I could live in Texas. I don't know. I've been to Dallas a few times. It's cool to visit. I don't know if I could live there.
Texas is a vibe.
I know, but I'm such like I like Miami because it's very much like, I mean, now
tropical.
it is. Back in the day, like it was a little bit different, but now it's very much like a city.
Yeah.
I need that. Like from New York to Miami,
Yeah,
I need that.
yeah.
I don't know
That
if I could
fast
live
pace.
that slow. Like
Yeah.
I might go a little crazy. So, yeah. I like Texas accents though.
B, you can do a Texas accent?
I like how guys from Texas sound. I like their little slur.
I can do a Texas, a Dallas, Texas face. Stephen Jones.
All right,
They
all
gotta
right.
Stephen Jones.
Listen, moving on. This
I'm
is
just playing. I like Stephen Jones. They've done a great job over the last.
Do you like Dallas?
years.
Have you been?
I love Dallas. I put.
Could you
Houston
live there?
First. I can live in Dallas. For
Really?
Sure. I love.
I know you can live in Dallas.
Houston.
Yeah.
What that's supposed to mean?
I know you
Ash?
can live
I know
in
you
Houston.
can live in Dallas.
Because you're from here, so you're used to like
Oh,
a little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
more of a slower, like, and Brandon's from Pittsburgh, and there's nothing there. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm coming from a city type. I don't know if I could live in Dallas. It'd be a little slow for. I could have a house there, but that couldn't be like my primary residence.
I can have a house there. So
I could.
bougie. So bougie. So I can have a house there.
The best thing for you to do is to have if you can afford it, is a nice little real estate portfolio. That's the best way to spend your money.
Okay.
Come on now, I read. I know things.
So you gonna Airbnb your house out?
I don't know if I could do that. Could y'all do that?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I'm
Not
big.
my
I'm
house.
big on energy. I don't want people in my house that I don't. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Not my primary, but
If it's part of that portfolio,
part of that portfolio, he can do his thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, primary, that's weird.
That's a little. All right, listen, we're going to talk some football as we've been doing. And this is a topic that Brandon and I tend to get a little contentious over. So, Brandon, we're going to play nice today. It's Halloween. Do not make me get my lasso in here. We're going to talk some Chicago Bears football and some Justin Fields. Now, a major topic of discussion this season, and particularly on this show, is the Chicago Bears and the problems within the organization, but also the problems at the quarterback position. Now, there has been a lot of talk as whether or not the Chicago Bears are fully to blame for Justin Fields and his shortcomings since being named the franchise quarterback of this organization, or if some of that blame falls in Justin Fields' lap. Well, another layer to this conversation now is, did the Chicago Bears ruin Justin Fields? And we're going to listen to Dan Bernstein of the Chicago Sports Radio before we dissect this. Go ahead.
I'm just sick of the big picture of what's going on here. I'm sick about it. If you don't want to coach Justin Fields, if that's too much for you, if you can't handle him, then you suck as a coach and bring in some other people to do it. That's your damn problem. This guy called out the coaches earlier in the year, and he said, look, I'm overloaded with stuff. I've got too much on my plate here. I want to get out there and play the kind of game I'm capable of playing. And what is it? He said coaching. And then they made him apologize for it. They made him apologize for finally publicly saying, screw it. These coaches are messing with me. They're trying to ask me to do stuff I'm not comfortable doing. And he said it. And now it's like, well, they just ignore the fact that he's hurt. And the moment they get their chance, the moment they get to national TV, then they start that little backstabbing whisper campaign. It sucks. It sucks. If you don't want to coach him, get out.
I don't know, right?
First of all, this is one of the reasons why I love people from Chicago. I don't know if he's from Chicago.
You gotta be.
But I mean, I didn't hear like an overly Chicago accent, but maybe he just doesn't have it anymore. I love people from Chicago because what they share with New Yorkers, especially when it comes to like sports radio, is they don't hold any punches. They will say it exactly how it is. They're very rough around the edges. They're very unapologetic. They will blast whoever wants to smoke can get the smoke. I absolutely love people from Chicago. I have no problem with what he just did on air. I thought it was fantastic.
Is he getting pushback or something?
I think no. I'm just saying in general. I don't know if he's getting pushback. I mean, he shouldn't. It's Chicago. They've heard worse things. Trust me.
Right.
But I love what he said. And, you know, you and I have had our conversations about...
You're coming to the dark side?
No. Let me finish. You and I have had our conversations about Justin Fields on this show. Do I think 100% of the blame is on Justin Fields? No, I never have. But I do think that he has things that he's fallen short with. And I don't know if Chicago is just not conducive for him to get out of that, or that's just part of his game as a quarterback. I do know, and I do agree with you that this relationship has run its course. And you've heard me say time and time again, I think the Chicago Bears organization is horrendous. I've always felt that about them. I think they're one of the worst run organizations in the NFL. I would personally go as far as saying top 3. Mm-hmm. I've always felt this about them. I just don't know if it's 100% them and 20% Fields, if it's 30%, that math doesn't make sense. If it's 80% them and 20% Fields, if it's 30 and set, like I don't know what the percentage is. All I know is Fields does hold some of the responsibility, but I did have an issue with the fact that Fields came out and said what he said, which seemed to be very authentic, very transparent, very honest. And I know in the NFL, you're not supposed to dish your coaches and things like that, but I think it set a really bad precedent for his reputation from the fan base and other media heads that within a half an hour tops that he took it back. And I always wondered if that was him or if that was the organization saying you're not going to do that. And if it was the organization, shame on them. That's trash.
I agree with some things you said, and I disagree with some things you said, Ash. The thing I agree with is this relationship ran its course, right? Phil, you're not going to bring in a different head coach. You just brought in a new head coach. And Fields is just letting them know, like, yo, I can't handle what you're doing and what you're giving me. Mm-hmm. This is what I need to be successful. Oftentimes, a lot of OCs come in and say, no, this is what I do and conform to what I do. But for a player to be special, y'all have to coexist. Y'all have to work together. Right. That's right. He has to let you know what he likes and what he don't likes, and you make that happen on his behalf so he can go out and play faster on the field and everything can be easy. I think the Bears franchise was a mess before they brought in Ryan Poles.
For sure.
Like, I love him as a GM. His first transaction, one of his first transactions was bringing Claypool in, and that didn't turn out right, so he get a bad little rap for that. But he was trying to bring in Fields a weapon that he thought can be explosive on the outside. But I think now what Ryan Poles has to do is just let Fields go.
Right.
See what you can get for him. You'll get some compensation for him because I think they're going to have the number 1 and 2 pick of the draft. You can bring in a Caleb Williams. You can bring in a Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you can still have draft capital, or you can have a player on the offensive line to come in and for sure, like, try to shore up this offensive line and start building there. But you're not going to bring in a new head coach. This marriage between Fields and this head coach or this offensive coordinator is not going to go forward positive. Right. So I just think, like Ash said, like, you just have to wash your hands with it and just let it go and see it for what it is.
I see a world where both sides can win. I do see a world where they can move on and they can get what they need.
Move on from Fields, or
yeah, okay. I can see a world where the Chicago Bears leverage, his talents to get more assets. But I also see a world where he goes somewhere else and he thrives. Right, the way I want to approach this, right? Like, me as a player, I'm taking myself back into those in that locker room or on that field. If you put me in a Mike Martz scheme, and then Mike Martz was like the greatest show on turf, right? That's where you had Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. You had Marshall Faulk. I wouldn't have thrived as a wide receiver in that system because everything was speed, right? Meaning speed cuts. It was get to the top of your route, and you can't stop. You got to hit it full speed. In cut, out cut. Like, everything was Me, I like to boom, boom, boom at the top, like break, old school, traditional. And so I wouldn't have thrived in that system. I didn't thrive in Ben McAdoo's system in New York, right? They want to just go out there, run and gun, and everybody stay on their side, and you could be the X one play, you could be the Z next play, and just whatever the quarterback wants to do. That didn't work for me. So Justin Fields, did the Bears ruin him? No, but I believe Ashley, it's more on the coaching than it is on Justin Fields.
Let me ask you something
because,
real quick.
Because this quarterback, he is super talented. Super talented. Is your job as the coach to put him in the right system. So for him to come out and say the coaching is the problem, it tells it all.
Well, let me go ahead and switch gears. Well, not switch gears. Let me ask you these two questions. I'm going to start with this one. Is it even realistic that the Bears, right now they're sitting at 2-6. Mm-hmm. There's a possibility they can win a few more games. They're not tanking, so it's not like the number 1 draft pick is a definite for them.
Right.
With that said, do you think it even makes sense for them to even move on from Justin Fields? Because let's be honest, that's all they have. Like, if we're going to talk about the Bears and what their future looks like and what their, the offense looks like, right now, Justin Fields is their future. I don't really think there's another piece on this team currently that you can say, this is our future, this is what we can build around. This is all you have. Yeah. So if you move this one piece and he goes and thrives somewhere else, and there's a possibility he may or may not, but you moving this one piece will set you back even further than where you currently are. You think it's bad now?
Right.
It's going to be worse if you move him. So do you think the Bears are even going to engage in that, especially if they don't have a top draft pick to get another quarterback? They're not going to be bad enough to get Caleb out of USC.
They will, though. Because
you think they will?
Even if they don't, they still get the Carolina Panthers pick, who's Carolina gonna be top 2 worst teams.
I forgot they have the Carolina pick. Okay.
So if they want a quarterback that bad, they can get one. And that's why I feel like moving Fields, you can get some more assets for him, right? I think you can get 2 assets for him that can come in and play, or you can get 2 nice draft picks to, get some more cornerstones for your team. And that's why you do move him. Because you go get a shot at Caleb regardless, whether it's going to be them or Carolina's going to be the worst team.
Right, and Caleb's dictating, not dictating, he's taking that Eli Manning approach, but being a little bit more vocal, or his father is, about where he wants to play. Like he said, if I'm not in the right situation, I'd rather stay at SC. Listen, if I'm the Chicago Bears, man, I'm letting go of this coach. And,
already?
And depending on, what's happening, because we're not there. Again, I always say this, we can come out here all we want and say, they need to do this, they need to do that. But you've been in those shoes before. You've been in those locker rooms, in those meeting rooms. There's been plenty of times where the narrative outside the building was one thing, and you're like, that's not it. I'm with this guy every day. I'm here. I was in this situation. And then vice versa. So we don't really know. So if I'm the Chicago Bears and you're looking at it like, you know what? He ain't the guy, right? Because there's some other things going on, then you're still in a good position. You're in an extremely good position. Now, if he is the guy, you're still in a phenomenal position, because now you can go out, you have all this draft capital, and you can go, boom, put a couple pieces around him and more, the receiver. I love their dynamic. They're dynamic, and be right where you need to be. So the Bears are in an interesting situation, but they seem to F it up. They have seemed to F it up over the last 5 to 10 years. I don't know what's going on, but I do like Poole. Poole, I think he'll figure it out, but everybody above him, I'm nervous.
Second question for you guys. Justin Fields, whether or not you think it's 20% him, 30% him, 40% him, whatever the percentage is, what is it, and Brandon, I know you're very pro Justin Fields, but taking yourself out of that. Okay. Well, you also are, I would say you're a Justin Fields fan. But taking that out of it and what you've seen from Justin Fields in the past 3 years, it's fair that the fan base has some frustration with him. It hasn't been the fix-all, be-all that they thought. They haven't seen a lot from him, I guess, that they may have anticipated. So from the outside looking in, what does he need to do better so that if he does go to another situation, regardless of the system, because yes, I agree with you, systems can go ahead and make quarterbacks better, but also you have to improve as an individual. Otherwise, it's a Brock Purdy situation. It starts to peek through the cracks. Little by little, the light starts shining through the cracks, and you see where their faults are. What does he need to do to get better?
So
what is he not good at right now that he needs to be better at?
So September 24th, the Chicago Bears were in Kansas City, Ashley. Justin Fields finished that game with 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, with a staggering quarterback rating of 58. Okay. After that, what his name, Bernstein, what he was talking about. After that game, Justin Fields, back at headquarters, had his weekly presser and answered the question. They asked him, what's the problem? What's going on? Coaching, basically, long story short. But then he had to come back and apologize. I shouldn't have said that. They twisted my words, et cetera, et cetera. But after that, because that was a big deal. You sit it. Like, you know, you don't really see players doing that. And it's frowned upon. You had some of the guys that I played with when in Chicago, like Kyle Long and those guys saying, you don't do this, you don't do that. This is terrible. Okay, I get it, right? But what happened after that? Because now you got everybody's antennas up. Ownership, the McCaskies, George McCaskey, Bob McCaskey, everybody. Poole, the general manager, the president, the head coach, everybody. Oh, what's going on? We gotta get this right. So they all align. And what happens after that? October 1st versus Denver, 335 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception with 132 QBR rating. October 5th, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, 125 QBR rating. And then October 15th, when he went down, couldn't finish the game, he ended with 15 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. And so when you ask me the question, what does he need to do? It's like there's nothing he can do now because he's injured. You know, he was in a beautiful place because after he made those comments, the best thing you can do is go out there and perform. They made the adjustments, and the adjustment worked. So now everything he was saying was valid. Now when he talks about the coach, like, damn, well, it is the coach. So he's in a tough position because that's a small sample size of what Justin Fields is. He needed to do that for the rest of the year. And then you would have had the Chicago Bears lined up to give him whatever he wanted, or any other team for that matter. So he's in a tough position right now because he got hurt.
I agree. He always showed us flashes of who he can be, right? He's not one of those quarterbacks where it was like, when is he going to show us something? Like, okay, it could be your O-line. Like, when are you going to make a play? No, since his rookie year, he took over games, right?
Yep.
So he always showed us flashes of what he can do. I don't think he can do much more being with this roster that he has right now. He can try to feed DJ Moore. He can try to run out of the pocket. He can try to do some things with his legs. But this roster has to get better for him to look better, right? So the only thing Justin Fields can do is, like you said, when he come back, just ball. And then they will be forced to go look at the OC and say, hey, when he said everything needed to change and it did change, his stats proved it. Are you going to keep it this way, or are you going to be a coach that's bullheaded and say, nah, we still going to do it our way? Because if that happens, now you have a situation where it's like, what do you do now? Are you going to stick with your coach, or are you going to stick with your quote-unquote franchise quarterback?
Last point on this, Brandon.
I don't even know this head coach's name. What is his name? Where did he come from? I don't know. But let me tell you, B, like certain situations, right? So Justin Fields go down. Then they bring in this one little quarterback. Now they're saying, one person from inside the locker room said, we saw in camp that this could be the next Brock Purdy. That's what one of the teammates said. Okay, cool. He goes out there. They win. We had him on our Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week list. But he only had 120 yards passing. Like, what are we talking about? But after the game, that coach, whatever his name is, wherever he comes from, he has the football. He gives him the football. You get the game ball. They're celebrating. But when you look in his eyes, B, I'm like, you got to look at people. You got to study body language. What I saw was a coach that was like, yeah, we can win without Justin Fields. It's like, what? So when you're talking about, is he going to be bullheaded? That's what I saw. I'm gonna show them that it's Justin and not me. Justin had his moment. Now I got my moment. He's hurt, and now I'm winning with this quarterback. The man had 120 yards. Why did we have him on the pep? What? Why? Why?
Matt Efferbliss.
What's his name?
Efferbliss.
Where's he from?
I don't know where he's from, but listen, we're
Bears coach Matt. Where's he from, Brian? Brian, our producer's texting me.
I don't know where he's from.
Exactly. Where's he from?
Why would I know where he's from?
Does anybody know where he came from? Where did this guy come from?
Mama.
He's not a hot candidate. B, please text me where this guy came from before we move on to another topic. I really need to know. And now I'm probably losing all credibility on this side of the camera because people are like, shouldn't you know this? No, who knows him? We know all the top candidates. We know who's going to be the top 5 for the defensive side, offensive side. Still nothing. Okay, that's all good. We can move on. We'll come back to it. I don't have Siri. I couldn't. I don't take the time to set that up when I get a new phone.
Hey Siri.
There we go.
Where is Matt Efferbliss from?
Woo just text me something.
Oh,
The
He was
Colts.
raised in South Dakota.
He's from Cameron, North Carolina. Oh wait, that's Matt Hardy. I don't know who. Isn't that? Did I just say Matt? Maybe.
Okay, but he also was the. So I was talking about like his coaching
accolades.
background.
Yeah, accolades.
Defensive coordinator from the Colts, 2018 to 2021. Okay, I can see why they were excited because the Monsters of the Midway was what? It's always been a defense. When we came, then they said the Monster of the Midway are now Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett, Alshon Jeffrey, Matt Forte, Jay Cutler. But no, that's not the Chicago Bears.
Right.
It's defense. So they went and they got.
We're gonna move on.
Okay, let me finish this point.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so he's a defensive coordinator. All right, so I can understand why they went there. Okay, but like again, the Colts, they didn't win no Super Bowl. So I'm sorry for ranting, but yeah, I don't even know who this guy is, man. Justin Fields would be all right wherever he lands.
Can I move on now?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay,
Thanks
cool.
for
Awesome. All right, listen, from one head coach to another, Dabo Swinney, we haven't heard that name in a while, at least in a positive way. The days of Clemson being the top dog in the ACC or just a top dog in college football altogether seems like years of the past. But Dabo says, do not blame my football team. Do not even blame me. Blame the fans because you are part of the problem. Listen to this.
And you're part of the problem, to be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that all you do is the appreciation, the expectation is greater than the appreciation. And that's the problem. And so, we've won 12 10-plus win seasons in a row. That's happened 3 times in 150 years. So if you want to know why, Clemson ain't sniffed a national championship for 35 years. We've won 2 in 7 years. And there's only 2 other teams that can say that, Georgia and Alabama. Okay? Is this a bad year? Yeah. And it's my responsibility. Take 100% responsibility for it. But all this bull crap you're thinking, all these narratives you read, listen, man, you can have your opinion all you want. And you can apply for the job.
I like it.
And good luck to you. All right?
You not feeling it, Ash?
Go ahead, Brett.
Nah, I mean,
because it was all good when you were winning, right?
yeah, but the thing
It
is,
was all good when you were winning, and people were like Dabo, and he was relating him to Phil Jackson at the time. Deshaun Watson was his Michael Jordan. It was all good when you were winning, and now that you're not even sniffing an ounce of the type of success that you had years ago, and you talking about 2 championships in 7 years, it's 2023. What have you done for me lately?
But you know what's going
lately,
on.
Clemson does not look like the Clemson we saw win 2 championships in 7 years. So I get it. I get nobody likes to be criticized, but you're ripping a fan for doing a fan's job. It's like, Dabo, you punching below the belt, like you punching down low. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And the writing was on the wall, right? In 2015, Dabo said, if players get paid directly, that's when NIL was coming about. He said,
Preaching.
I might simply quit and go to the pros.
I still see him in college football, by the way, so I just want to put that out there.
And my thing is, I think he's not getting the athletes that he was getting before. I don't think he's big on NIL and handing these players all this money. So his roster is getting a little weaker, and now people are starting to bring this up, and he's getting frustrated, and he thinks everybody is part of the problem except him. Like, you got to get with the times, because if not, you finna get steamrolled over. Because if you're a player coming out of high school right now with all this NIL going on, with all these top teams, you got the Colorados, you still got Ohio State, everybody that's willing to pay money, right? What's going to make you go to Clemson? Like random Clemson and stay in that city, and they're not winning games now because of that.
Not only that, but you bring up Colorado, and I think that, yes, NIL has made it to where there are opportunities at some of the non-bigger schools. Before, it was like you had to, if you were a top pick, you had to go, to a Clemson or a Georgia or a Bama or an Ohio. Like, there was only certain schools that you really wanted to go to if you were a top pick coming out of high school. And in some regards, that's still kind of true. Like, there are some programs that are proven. There are some programs that produce the NFL talent that when they come out of these programs, they're ready to go right out the bat. You think of Bama, right?
Yep.
But I think the NIL has obviously made it to where that is a little bit more spread out. But even more so, do you want to play for a coach like Deion Sanders, who knows where you come from and who is not only training you to be a better athlete, but a better person? Or do you want to play for a Dabo who has dissed the NIL, dissed Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday? I mean, you now see what life looks like for players when they play for a coach that truly understands them. And in your most developmental years, whether it's as a person, as an athlete, as both, who would you rather play for? You know what I mean? I feel like it's two things.
It's whoever's giving the biggest bag. I think Deion is a special coach where he's one of those coaches that can walk into your living room and say, listen, my bag isn't as big as Florida State's or USC's, but I'm Deion, right? That relatability you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So he's a special situation. But everybody else is coming down to who's going to spend the most money.
100%.
And everything that you talked about, Ashley, as far as like Dabo, he is a guy that is like cemented in his stance in certain situations. And so when you bring up NIL, when he's like, yo, I don't really believe in this, well, now we're seeing why they're struggling. They're struggling because he's not going full speed ahead like everybody else. He is bullheaded. He's bullish on what he believes in. You know, I wouldn't even say ego. It's just like he's traditional. He's done it one way for a very long time, and he's not adapting. So if he doesn't, he's going to get ran out of town. But I also agree with what he's saying too, right? Like it goes back to when we were talking about, teams right now got 2 hours until the NFL trade deadline. If you're Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, what do you do? Do you go out there and you make a move? Your Philadelphia Eagles, what do you do to really put yourself in a better position to hoist that Lombardi, right? So like 2-7, that's a big deal. He knows what he's doing on everything else outside of this NIL thing. But he is him now. Don't get it twisted. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a phenomenal recruiter. He's a phenomenal coach. He's just not coming with the big bag right now.
Well, listen, I hate to cut this conversation short, guys, but we have some breaking news. We did know, that unfortunately Kirk Cousins went down with an Achilles injury. He is out for the remainder of the season, as we know. Yesterday, we were throwing names around about which quarterback could be on the move to Minnesota. And it is reported about 5 minutes ago that the Arizona Cardinals are sending Josh Dobbs to Minnesota to take over for Kirk Cousins. Okay. So Josh Dobbs of the Arizona Cardinals is headed to Minnesota to lead the Minnesota Vikings for the rest of the season. Justin Jefferson will be returning, so he has his wide receiver one. Guys, thoughts about this?
Dobbs been cooking this year. Yeah. I like this. He's been the scrappy player for the Cardinals, so he's going to fit right in with the Vikings, what they team all about. We talked about it before where the Vikings are in every game. They scratching and they clawing, right? Now they get a player in the quarterback position who's the most important position on the field, who's going to scratch, who's going to claw. I guarantee you this team rallies around Josh Dobbs. I mean, they might not be a playoff contender, but they gonna have a solid season. I see them finishing around 500 somewhere this year.
Right. Listen, it makes sense for the Cardinals, right? Like the Cardinals, is Josh Dobbs your guy next year? Probably not. Now, this uncertainty around Kyler Murray, now that's a bigger question. Or are they going to bring him back? Because I think he's in position to come back, but they're like doing this cat and mouse type of thing where, maybe let's not put him out there because let's go in the draft and get another guy. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do after this at the quarterback position. But again, the Minnesota Vikings, what's exciting for me is like, oh, who are they going to get? The anticipation of that. Like I was like, oh, I thought it was Jameis Winston. That didn't happen. This is a good move for them. But again, this is mid-season. Now, I don't know if he has any type of relationship with the coaches over there, this type of system, but I expect him to do good, but I don't think he's going to get them over the hump. I just don't believe a quarterback in mid-season can just come in and just like right away just hold it down. I just don't see it.
I feel like Cousins wasn't getting them over the hump this year either. Like, their record is what it is. I think Dobbs will do everything Kirk Cousins did, and he's going to make a push to see whether they go keep him next year or they go pay Kirk Cousins. I think he's going to make them take a step back, look, and see, like, yo, what is our future really going to be?
Well, we shall see what happens there. But before we close out the show, there's some other breaking news. As we know, it is the NFL trade deadline, so guys are on the move. The Bears and the Commanders are in agreement on a massive trade for star pass rusher Montez Sweat to land in Chicago in exchange for a second-round pick.
So they're buying.
If the season ended today, that pick would be the 35th overall. Obviously, the season is not ending today, so that may or may not be the pick. Guys, 60 seconds. Thoughts on this? Go.
I like it. They building up their defense. They already have Edmonds over there. Like, they're trying to get the pieces to have a cornerstone to be great in the next 2 to 3 years.
I got more questions now. Or, you're buying. You're like, what are you buying? You buying for this year? You buying for next year? I like the move, but I got more questions. Like, okay, what's the strategy here?
The head coach, the
Chicago?
defensive coach. He's trying to build that defense up to play ball over there.
Yeah, where is he from? You say
South Dakota.
South Dakota. What's this coach named Ashley? Like, okay, Brandon, move on. No, I really was interested. Like, who is this coach over there?
No, but that's a elite pass rusher. I mean,
they
building their team out the right way for the long haul. Like, I think it's a good pick.
Dang, it's just questions like, okay, what are the Bears' strategy? And then what is the Commander's strategy, too? Like, man, a lot of chess being played in the NFL.
Like it.
It's fun.
Well, listen, there'll be a lot more to talk about tomorrow. The trade deadline ends today at 4 o'clock, so there may or may not be some more movement in the NFL, leaning more towards on the side of there may be some more movement in the NFL. But happy Halloween, everybody listening to us on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103. We wish you a safe and happy night. And for everybody joining us on our I Am Athlete YouTube page, we thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tap into our socials, our YouTube page, and everything if you want to see all the craziness, all the cool costumes from today. And we will see you tomorrow. It's my favorite day. Tomorrow is hump day. Bye, guys.